There will never be a day that you are living in this physical form that there will not be yet another experience, and usually hundreds of them, that help you to redefine what you want, but even better said, who you are. Because do you know, when life causes you to come to a conclusion, even if you don't speak about it, in other words, something happens which upsets you, you cannot have an experience where something is bothering you without clarifying at many levels of your being what would be an improved experience. And when that happens, you emit a vibration that asks for that improvement. And the larger part of you evolves. You have to first understand that everything that you see in what you call your real life experience was first thought, that was thought upon longer. And as it is thought upon longer, then it becomes what you call manifestation, what you call reality. But everything that you see around you, your economics, your physical apparatus, your relationships, the physical structures, everything that you see around you that you decipher with your physical senses, all of that reality was first only vibration. It was first only thought. It was first only thought, which was thought upon until it became reality. And the reason that we sort of belabor this point is because we want very much for you to understand that you are sending forth into what we like to call a vibrational escrow, the precursor to your future manifestations. In other words, previous generations have added immeasurably to what you were born into, and you are doing the same for future generations that will follow you. But even more important for you to understand is that you are pre-paving your future right here, right now, with every thought and emotion that you feel around the thought. You are pre-paving a future experience, and the larger part of you is already living it. So here is how it works. You were sourced before you came into this physical body, and a part of that attention is focused here. But the larger part of you that was sourced before you came into this physical body is still source non-physically focused. The larger part of you is vibration. Humans define that in a variety of ways. You refer to that as your soul. You refer to that as the non-physical part of you or the God force within you. We like to call it your soul, or your inner being is even a better word. The non-physical part of you still exists in non-physical, even though you are here in your physical form. So when you get it, that while you are here in this physical form, attracting and creating, that this larger part of you is existing and is becoming as a result of that which you are about here in your environment. When you don't have enough money and you want more money, the source within you focuses upon the improved abundance. When you're sick and you want to be well, the source within you focuses upon the wellness that you are asking for. The source within you does not look at the illness and use it as justification for why you need the wellness. The source within you rides the rocket of your desire and gives undivided attention to what you are asking for. Humans, in your experience, and those that you revere as great masters, like Jesus said, turn the other cheek, and that was precisely the point that he was talking about. When you know what you don't want, you always know what you do want. When someone has deceived you, or when someone has done something from your point of view that you think is wrong, you automatically ask for an improvement. But when you keep beating the drum of the injustice, you hold yourself apart from where the source within you immediately went. The things that trouble you the most are responsible for your greatest expansion. But what happens, the reason that you don't know that is because if you're like most people, you are offering most of your vibration in response to what you're observing. So you're observing what's going wrong, which is causing you to expand, but then you still observe what's going wrong in order to justify your expansion. But you can't have your expansion until you stop observing what's gone wrong. You have to turn your attention to where you want to go and stop beating the drum of what's gone wrong. And we know, blame sometimes feels better than guilt. It's easier to say, no, I'm sure that the fault belongs with her. It's her fault. But we want you to understand that while it feels a little better to blame someone else than yourself, blame always feels better than guilt. But if you make a career of that, you hold yourself in this place of disempowerment, because what you're saying is, what others do affects me in a way that I can't overcome. And that really is the platform of powerlessness. Where instead, if you would say, what others do inspire me to what I really want. And the only reason I feel this blame is because I'm not looking at what I've become. I'm not letting myself go because I'm still in the defending and justifying mode. You're following? We think you are to some degree. So let's say that you're moving through your day and something happens with someone. And it always is someone you care about. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel any emotion. Someone you don't know calls you on the telephone and says, hello, you don't know me. I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again. You would say, okay, thanks for letting me know. But if you care about this person and they tell you that, you would feel strong negative emotions. So you're moving through your day and something happens which causes you to feel negative emotion. In other words, you know what you don't want, and it's pointedly vivid for you. In that moment, you launch a rocket of desire, a preference, a vibrational asking emanates from you, and the source within you rides that rocket and gives undivided attention to that improved preference that this piece of life has just caused you to ask for, and holds steady the vibrational tone of that, includes it into that point of attraction, into that focal point of attraction, and literally absorbs it. And now law of attraction begins immediately to respond to this becoming point. Can you feel that? Now, the question that this workshop wants to ask and answer is, so now life has caused you to expand, and the larger part of you has taken the expansion and has now become it. The question is, what are you doing on that same point? And if you're like most humans, for a while at least, you're beating the drum of justification about why you want this, which means you're holding yourself apart from your improvement. And the negative emotion that you feel is your indicator that you're holding yourself apart from the improvement. That really is the only thing that we want to express to you in a way that you can really feel it. If you can get it, that every negative emotion you feel means the same thing every single time. It means life has caused you to expand to another point, and you're not letting yourself go right now because you're holding to something that's keeping you from going there. You're resisting your own evolution. And we want you to understand that nothing ever upsets you or makes you unhappy than that. We know it feels like it's somebody else's fault, but it isn't somebody else's fault, because nobody else can get inside of you and perceive. Nobody else can hold the tone of your vibration. Of course you can be influenced to a vibration. And we don't blame you a bit for being upset if somebody influences you to a vibration that doesn't feel good. But you're in charge of your vibration. And when you get that, you will finally, maybe for the first time ever, but once and for all, be free. When you get it, that the way you feel is only about your attention to some subject, then you're free. Esther said to Jerry the other day, I'm on the brink of discomfort over something. Something had happened. I have a sort of edginess. She said, let's go for a walk, or let's sit and meditate. I want to shake this off. I'm on the brink of discomfort. And then she laughed and said, I want to be on the brink of appreciation. That's the brink I want to be on. I know I can't hold myself in off-the-wall appreciation and enthusiasm forevermore, but I can sure hang around in the vicinity of appreciation. I'm going to reach for thoughts that hold me on the brink of appreciation so that in any moment I could just slip right over into appreciation. I don't want to be on the brink of a nervous breakdown. I'm on the brink. I'm on the brink of a nervous breakdown, and you are probably going to be the one that puts me over the edge. We want you to be on the brink of appreciation, and you are probably going to be the one that puts me over the edge. And when you get hanging around on that brink of appreciation, all kinds of wonderful things happen. Esther is in the ladies' room at a restaurant, and she hears in the room next door a mother and a child talking with one another. And the mother is saying, oh, honey, apparently there had been a wetting of the clothes accident. And the mother said, oh, honey, it's not your fault. I should have brought you when you first told me that you needed to go. And the child said, that's all right, Mommy. And Esther thought, ooh, I must have been hanging out on the brink of appreciation, because here I got to hear this loving exchange between mother and child. In other words, when you're on the brink of appreciation, it's like living in a sort of Disney movie, and the bird swoops in just at the right time, and the little bunny comes up and wiggles its nose at you, and you look out the window of your office and the squirrel is twitching its tail. Some people are gagging over that sort of thing, as if no one should live with all that's going on in the world. Who deserves to live like that? And we say, you all do. You all deserve to hang out on the brink of appreciation. It's who you are. The source within you isn't hanging out on the brink of appreciation. The source within you went all the way. Even when you're living something that you consider to be awful, the source within you went all the way into love and all the way into appreciation. And if you're complaining about anything, the only thing that you're complaining about is source went off and felt good and you didn't go. I'm going to blame Source. I'm going to blame Source. If Source would come over here and complain with me, there'd be no gap, and I'd feel good. And we say, you trained your mother to go over there with you, didn't you? In other words, you train your friend, be here with me. You train your mates. Back me up on this, you say. Back me up on this. You need to back me up. I know I'm hateful and belligerent, and I know I'm on the brink of a nervous breakdown, but come over here and back me up. And we say, Source won't back you up. Source won't come over there to back you up. Source remains over here with who you have become, and not only backs you up, fulfills you, sustains you, is you. But you have to do the work of alignment. You must do the work of alignment, you see. In simple terms, if you want to feel good, you got to keep up with you. You've got to find ways right now, where all of your power is right now. You've got to find ways to let yourself be who you've become. You're a little bit like a two-headed monster. We just want both heads to get going in the same direction, so to speak. So a good way to sort of get the ball rolling, especially if you're new to this, would be to say, I wonder what my inner being thinks about this. What's my inner being's take on this? And your emotions are telling you that. If you've got a big knot in your stomach, it's telling you that the source within you is looking at this very differently than you are. And the way you're looking at it has caused separation is too strong a word, but it will do. Separation from who you are. If you feel joy, and you ask that question, I wonder what source would, you know how when you ripple with that feeling of love or understanding, and you say, I wonder what my inner being thinks about this? You just thought what your inner being thinks about this. That's why you're rippling. That's why you're bubbling. That's why you're filled with that feeling of well-being. But when you feel ornery, you're somewhere that your inner being isn't. It's just as simple as that. You got to lighten up, friends. We want you to relax and allow the well-being that is yours. We want you to understand that everything is working out for you. And if you could get a glimpse of your vibrational escrow, if you could understand who you were before you were born and all that you've become since, if you could see the universal forces that are lining things up for you, there is so much working for you. You are so adored and so supported and so worthy, so much the logical inheritors of well-being. There has never been a more vivid, pointed time where magnificent manifestation should be yours than this time. This is the time of allowing. It is the time of awakening. It is the time of getting it and consciously being it, you see. And even in your ignorance of this, when you don't even know any of this, you keep being born and life keeps causing you to expand and you keep finding yourself there, you see. When you croak, you will immediately reemerge into source energy. We just think you shouldn't have to croak before you get it. We think you should be able to tune yourself to that source energy and remain in a physical body and live the heaven on earth that you all knew would be here. You saw this as a creative environment that exceeded anything that you'd ever seen before. You knew that the perfect variety and balance would inspire with you ideas that you would have the full capacity to receive completely. You knew that, and you came forth in such joy. And when you look at those little buggers, you know they know that. And every time you say to them, you can't or you shouldn't, they look back at you as if to say, you've forgotten who you are. But I have not forgotten. And then, in time, you wear them down a little bit. But their guidance will always bring them back round, as it has you. So, what do you want to talk about?